Okay, so this is going to be my Penn State and Iowa preview and prediction. So Penn State is 5-2. They're ranked 17th in the country, and they will be hosting Iowa, who is also ranked. They're ranked 18th, one spot behind Penn State. Currently, the line's sitting at about 6-point favorite for Penn State. I'm not sure what the over under is. I imagine it's probably in the mid 40s somewhere. Iowa, they're doing some nice things. They're gaining some momentum throughout the year. They only have one loss to Wisconsin, a game that they kind of feel like they outplayed them. A game that they were winning in the fourth quarter, they just couldn't hang on. And a game that was a lot closer than the final score indicated of 28-17. It was a real nail biter in the final minutes of that game. So looking at this matchup, Penn State, they had a nice four first games, but there was only something a little bit off, I felt, and now they're kind of getting exposed a little bit for it. I do feel there's a definite inability of the receivers to be able to get open and be able to catch the ball, and I just don't think that this team um, is quite good enough at receiver to really be able to win a lot of these games. But that's really going to be tested in this game, Michigan and Wisconsin. And this 3 game stretch is really going to be what defines their season. I think if they can win two, maybe all three, that's probably going to make this season, a season that's going to, it can kind of resurrect itself a little bit, and they can finish the year strong, and maybe, a 10-win season and a top 15 finish, maybe even top 10. But if they only win, like, no games, or they win one, and they're not really competitive in some of them, and they go 7-5, and they have an 8-5 finish or something like that, and they're not even ranked, that would not be a good finish to the football season. And I think that's what they're kind of looking for right now, to just finish the season strong and continue to go. Because people say, oh, they're not motivated. No, they want to win these games. Like, they're motivated. What I think is hurting them right now is the lack of confidence. I think that there's a disconnect on the offense. I think they're overthinking it. It's in their head now. I think it's a little bit of a mental thing with the coordinators, with Franklin and Ronnie, and I think with the whole offense. I think they're just a little bit all in their head a little bit, and it's just a little bit of a mental thing, and it's a little bit of a lack of just physical ability. But I think in this game, what really is going to define the difference between Penn State having a chance of winning this game and really not having a chance is will the receivers be able to get open and be able to catch the ball? See, Iowa, they play a defense that's very, very good up front. They're very, very good against the run, and they're decent against the pass also. They're a very good defense, but you can pick them apart in the passing a little bit easier. I wouldn't say pick them apart, but you can have more success in the passing game than you can against this run, especially for how Penn State is built. Penn State is a decent O-line, but they don't do amazing running the ball against teams. Sure, Miles Sanders might break one or two and have a decent day from a stat line perspective, but he's not going to be able to consistently run yard, play after play. We're not going to be able to control the line of scrimmage against Iowa. There's almost no chance that happens. And what is going to happen is if our receivers can't get open downfield, like I'm not even talking downfield, I'm just talking like 10, 15 yards plays. If they can't make those kind of plays and they can't get open for those routes, Iowa is just going to key in on this run, and they're just going to condense, which is going to be exactly what we don't want, because it's going to make it way harder for us to run, because they know that since we can't really pass real well, then they're just going to plan on the run and the short pass. So they're going to keep everything in front of them in the passing game. Penn State's just going to be short little out routes to the tight ends, maybe little screen plays that don't work, and the running game is going to really have a hard time, and they're going to be able to key in on McSorley when he does those direct runs that won't be going anywhere in this game. But if Penn State can get the passing game going, I think that they'll be able to back off Iowa and be able to open them up and be able to use Penn State's athletes, and I think that'll be able to suit the game more for them. Penn State's Penn State's defense versus Iowa's offense. I think this is kind of an area of the game where Iowa's a decent offense, but it's not amazing. They don't have an amazing talent level, but they got some players. Penn State has some players on defense. I think it kind of looks like a game where Iowa's going to get their points, but I don't think they're just going to completely run it up on Penn State offensively. I don't think Penn State's defense is going to shut them down, but I don't think they're going to get shut down, also. So I think this is going to be a kind of a back and forth game, but if Penn State's offense can play like how it did at times this year, I think they'll be okay. But if they play like how they did against Michigan State and parts of Indiana, this is probably going to be a 28-17 loss. But I do feel that Penn State has enough to turn it around. I just look at Penn State and I go, they have the talent. This is a better, Penn State has more talent than this Iowa team. And I know it. But they just haven't demonstrated it quite yet in these past couple games, and Iowa has. I feel like if Penn State can get back on track, they have a good chance of winning this game. I think if they can play to their potential, they're going to win this game. I think they will. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a real battle, but I think Penn State's going to do enough, and they're going to step up, and they're finally going to win a close game. I got 27-24 Penn State in a real battle. Peace out, guys.